morning, everyone. Thank you for participating to this customer-oriented Totara webinar organized by MediaTouch together with Totara headquarters. Today we will present two products, Totara Engage and Totara Perform, that can be added to your current platform, Totara Learn. And to understand and present the characteristics and features of these two products, we have as a host Meredith Henson, which is the head of partner success of Totara. Meredith will step through the different features of Totara Perform and Totara Engage. And I'm sure that all of you that are using Totara will enjoy the specific features and ability to increase the engagement and performance management of your human resource. That being said, I will leave to Meredith the presentation. I don't want to introduce more. And at the end, there will be also a question and answer session. So Meredith, when you want, you can start your presentation, and thank you for being with us.
Very welcome. Thank you for the introduction. So there we go, same slide. So welcome. Thank you so much for attending. So I'm going to introduce Totara Engage and Totara Perform to you today. I've got just a few slides, and then hopefully we'll switch over to my demo site, which you saw a moment ago, and show you what the systems look like if you were going to use them. So first off, Totara Engage and Totara Learn are products in the Totara family, the Totara suite, and they can be connected and added to Learn as you like. So you might have just Engage, you might have just Perform, or you might have all three. And when we have all three, we call it the Talent Experience Platform. And that's because it creates a full cycle, and I'll just minimize myself, a full suite of software, which allows you to create that life cycle of learning, of growing, of sharing, of engaging, of developing, enhancing performance, and then going through that again. So learning more, growing more, sharing more, engaging better. So all three together work very, very nicely, but there are also great ways to have learn and engage or learn and perform. And of course, there's the mobile app as well. So what is Totara Engage? So Totara Engage is a learner experience platform or learning experience platform, often referred to as an LXP. And an LXP and Totara Engage are designed to facilitate informal learning and social learning. When you compare that to Totara Learn, which tends to be instructor-led and more formal with assessments, Engage provides the opposite of that. So it allows users to share their own knowledge in an informal setting. It also means that learners or users can connect at a social level, and particularly with many of us working remotely, that's really important to be able to connect with your colleagues and connect with your peers, understand that they are people too, they're also trying to do a good job, and really helps people work together collaboratively. Within Totara Engage, there are also some collaboration tools. Again, it's important for people that are working in remotely or on distance, but just as importantly for people that are in the same office, it provides a space for people to communicate and share, to discuss particular topics, and to even share and create content within these dedicated collaboration spaces. Engage also provides you some options around a machine learning-based recommendations engine to help learners discover new learning and new content. Often you have a lot of content and learning items within your site. If people can't find it, it can be frustrating for you as the content creators, but also learners. And the recommendations engine will provide that opportunity for learners to discover content that they might not be looking for, but they might gain a lot of value from participating in. So overall, Engage is designed to help improve learner or user engagement and encourage sharing and collaboration. If you are using Engage, then you get even more out of using the mobile app. Now, I won't stay on this slide for very long because that image can become a lot, but the mobile app will allow you to search the learning catalog of both Learn and Engage content. You can view course information, and as you can see, you can enroll in learning through the mobile app. And you can view Engage resources or content, that informal content that's stored within Engage, and even provide likes and ratings on that content and look at other related items. And again, that feeds from that machine learning based recommendations engine. So getting away from that image, what is Totara Perform? So Totara Perform is a performance management system. It provides advanced competency management. So in Totara Learn now, you have competency frameworks and the ability to link competencies with organizations and positions and link competencies to courses. But Perform provides an advanced management system around those competencies. So it will provide an overview of everyone's competencies that they have and the competencies that they need to have. It'll provide, you can assign competencies by audience and individually rather than just within a learning plan or via the positions and organizations. And you also have the option of setting different achievement paths for those competencies. In Learn, it's just tied to course completion. But in Perform, you have the option of course completion, of a manual review, and the scales and ratings of those competencies or skills can change. So people might complete a course and have a certain rating, but then their manager decides they might need a higher rating because they're demonstrating those skills so effectively. And all of those things, that skills-based learning helps drive talent retention, so keeping your staff engaged and learning and developing, and general talent management, so knowing what your staff are doing, what they need to do next, and identifying people that perhaps aren't performing, as well as people who could perform better. Also within Perform, we have a continuous performance management engine. So again, in Totara Learn in version 12, there's a performance management system, but the Perform functionality replaces everything that you have across that Learn functionality and adds a whole lot more. And that includes being able to do comparative reporting across different performance activities. There's really robust reporting in general across the performance activities, and continuous performance management means that you can have, rather than just one or two big appraisals, you can have many more smaller activities through the year, which provides a much better understanding of a user or an employee's development or lack of development, and performance or lack of performance. And particularly, we've seen in the last couple of years what we call the Great Resignation, where people are realizing they have a choice, that they can move jobs. And a lot of the drivers behind them moving is that they get bored. And those star employees, you can identify them using a performance management system and keep them excited, keep them growing, keep them developing, and hopefully keep promoting them as well. And how Perform does that is create these performance activities, which become a very much a portal or a focused way of a manager or a supervisor of some kind reviewing what people are doing. And being able to focus in on what learning they have or haven't done, what competencies they have or haven't achieved, and being able to wrap a discussion around that. So performance management, because of all of those things, helps improve employee engagement. They feel noticed, they feel seen, which ultimately helps them be motivated in their job and to do a good job, because they might be recognized and therefore promoted, or hopefully pay rise, which drives workplace productivity. Happy staff members, happy people work hard. Bored people don't. It also allows you to identify skill gaps. So being able to train someone up so that they are happier and more efficient and more effective in their job. And again, they can focus discussions and identify people that are performing not maybe at their best and performing beyond where they need to be. So therefore, they're going to get bored and move on. So let's take a look. I'm going to switch from slides and go to my site so you can see what this looks like. So this is my demo site. I'm going to log in as a learner, just so you know what it's like from the user experience. So this is a Totara version 16, which is currently the latest release, although we do have version 17 coming out very soon. And there's no customizations to the site. There's just images that I have uploaded and configuration. So first off, let's talk about this front page and this trending item here. So this is part of Totara Engage, and this is that recommendations engine, that machine learning based recommendations engine that I mentioned. And this is one way that you can display recommendations, is through this trending view. And these are just items that someone's clicked on or other people have clicked on. But another view of these recommendations can be courses that the person viewing, in this case, our friend Lisa Learner, hasn't already enrolled in or hasn't already completed. And those recommendations will be based on Lisa's behavior and the behavior and actions of other people similar to Lisa. So for example, if Andrea and I were enrolled in 10 courses, the same 10 courses, and then he went on to enroll in another that I wasn't enrolled in, the machine learning engine would say, I think Meredith is going to like this course, and provide that recommendation. The system will also provide recommendations for what's called micro-learning, and I'll show you how those are created in a moment. But these are items that are created within Engage, that informal learning, that have been tagged or flagged as taking less than 5 minutes to read or watch. And so these are micro-learning items. And the last type of recommendation that you can be given, and you can choose which you show, are for workspaces. And workspaces sit here under this collaborate area. And workspaces are those collaboration spaces I mentioned before. So those are areas for people to come together and to discuss items and share items. So let's have a look at that. So if I might go to find workspaces, these are all of the workspaces that are on my little demo site here. So these workspaces might be a collection of people going through a similar journey, like onboarding. Engage is very good at managing the onboarding process. It might be people that want to talk about a particular subject. In this case, I've got extended enterprise. It might be a particular department that wants to get all of its staff together, so the accounts department. It might be a project team. It might be members from lots of different teams coming together to communicate. And within these spaces, you can have a threaded discussion. And you can see I've got these like buttons. I can't like my own things here, so I'm Lisa Learner, but I can like or unlike content that someone else has posted. And all this feeds into engagement and the engagement reporting. So I can see who's posting comments, and I can see who's getting likes on those those comments. So therefore, who's being positive and collaborative and sharing and being just generally positive in these environments. Then I can share content. So in this case, this is Lisa Lerner's content mostly. She's trying to convince other members of her organization to use the multi-tenancy functionality available within Totara and turn that into an extended enterprise solution. So rather than just using their Totara site internally, is to use multi-tenancy to make it available to maybe their customers or their distribution partners or their resellers. So there are these pieces of content that have been created, and these pieces of content might be just text. They could be interactive, they could have multimedia, and I'll show you that in just a second. I just want to show you that you've got the slide in, slide out bar here, where we can see what the content is, that everyone can view it. We can like it. We can provide commentary around this. And again, there's those likes, so we can see who's engaging. And the machine learning engine can't think of anything here because there's just me and Lisa. But otherwise, it would provide recommendations of content that's related. So let's see how that content is created. And you can see we've also got this survey tool. So if I, as Lisa, go into my library, I can create new content. Now, one thing to point out before I click any further is that by default, learners or users across the site can create content, but it's all permissions driven. So if you don't want everyone to start creating content, that's fine. You can provide permission to a small group of trusted subject matter experts as you like. So you can say, there's only these 10 people that we want to create content. That's fine. You can set that up. So this is Lisa's library of content that she's created, and you'll recognize some of these items from those workspaces. So I can create a new piece of content, either one of those surveys, which is like a poll, or this piece of resource. So I can give it a title and some content in here. And we've got some basic editing options. And the reason they're kind of basic in terms of formatting, you're not embedding tables or anything really fancy, is because, again, that mobile app, you need to be able to view this content on the app, and having all sorts of wild editing or formatting is going to break that view in mobile app potentially. So we've got just basic items, but that does serves most people just fine. We've got bolds and bullet points. You can add links as you like. You can add horizontal rules so that you can create sections of content. You can have attachments, and you can embed media. So that might be a video or an image or a sound file. And of course, we've got some important emojis here. And you can also, and if I just put another one of these horizontal rules here, you can also embed media from YouTube or Vimeo. So if I very quickly grab this link of what is Totara Learn, I can just copy and paste that directly into my resource, and it will embed that automatically. No fiddly HTML code here. And then I can start saving it. So then I can choose who to share this with. And this is one of the really nice things about Totara Engage, is that it might be just for your own research. You might be building content to read later. It might be content that you're not quite ready to share. It could be content that you only want to share with specific people, individuals, or with a specific workspace. Or you might be very generous with your video links and share it with everyone. And if you share it with everyone, you'll notice that I've got a few more options that pop up here on screen. And that's where you, excuse me, add tags, identify it potentially as micro-learning, and add any topics that you like. And you can add your own topics to your site as you wish. And this is so it's all able to be discovered in the learning catalog, but also feeds into that recommendations engine. And now that content is there. You can also sort these pieces of content or curate these pieces of content into what are called playlists. And playlists allow you to collect this content together so that you can share it in a cluster, like we saw in that extended enterprise workspace. Also, people just know that they can go into this playlist and find the content that you like. So you can collect it together, and items can be moved around as you wish if you can use your mouse properly there. So those are playlists, and they can again be shared with workspaces. And if I go to Find Learning, you'll see that those resources and those playlists are all sortable and findable across the learning catalog. There's that one we just created. Okay, moving on to Perform. So I mentioned that you've got the ability to have advanced competency management. And if I just zoom out, this is a competency profile. So every user has a competency profile, which outlines all of the competencies that they've been assigned, how they've been assigned. So this is Lisa's position, her job. And this is Lisa's organization, her team. Her manager or an admin have directly assigned her these competencies, and she has self-assigned herself and quite a number of competencies as well. And we see this outer line, this yellow or lighter colored area is where Lisa needs to be, the required level of proficiency, versus this blue, this dark color, which is where she's at, her achievement level. So for example, if we click on process mapping, we can see that we've got a simple 3-step scale, and you can have any number of these with any number of steps. And as we expand this out, we can see that as soon as Lisa was assigned, so on assignment of the completion, she had the lowest level of proficiency of not competent. Then she completed this first course in process mapping, it's 100%. And then to receive this competent level, she completed 100% this advanced process mapping course. However, there is also a manual review linked to this competency. So she needs to get a rating from a manager or an appraiser, as well as herself. So her manager, Mia Manager, has said that she's competent, and she has added the little comment that she's observed that behavior. So right now, she is considered proficient. She has met her requirements. She is competent and proficient in that particular activity. But that can shift and change over time. Mia Manager might go in and change that rating. Maybe Lisa fails to demonstrate those process mapping behaviors a year on or 2 years after she's completed that course. So we can focus those discussions. We can focus in on those skills just by observation, or we can use those performance activities to identify those gaps or identify opportunities for learning. So this is a performance activity portal. This is where Lisa will see all of the activities that she needs to complete and who she needs to complete them about. So this is about her, and this is about as a peer. But if you're a manager logging in, you might see as a staff member or as an appraiser. So the HR team might see a different list of activities that they need to complete for different reasons. So if I go into this appraisal form, you can see I've completed some of these already, and I can have different sections. with different questions to respond to. And you can build your own custom forms. You can have these sort of long answer questions. You can have short answer. You can have multi-choice. You can have scales, numeric scales, or your own custom scales. And you can pull in your competency information or your goal information or your external evidence of learning items, or your what learning you have and haven't done, or what learning you're enrolled in, into those performance activities, so that the manager can be very focused on what you're doing, what you're not doing, and what you need to do next. So it makes every piece of learning that an individual does across the site count and being recognized, which means people work harder at their learning and work harder at their job. Right. There is also reporting behind all of these things. So I will very quickly show you that. And then I want to talk a little bit about all the information that we have around using, engage, and perform, because it can become, how do I use this? How best to set this up? And we've created a lot of courses and resources on how to do that. So in the reporting functionality, which you'll be all familiar with, you can do things like report on user engagement. So see what people are doing in terms of creating resources or creating playlists. We can also see content engagement. And you can see that admin user has, added a few likes, has viewed a lot. But really our stand-up is Mia Manager. She's been going crazy in there. She's got 46 views of how to work from home effectively. So you can see how people are connecting with each other and how they're connecting with the content. Right. So there are a lot of resources available across Engage and Perform. There is the Totara community where we're using Totara Engage. So you can go in there, see what it's really like. You can log in there. There are courses across the academy. There is the help documentation. There's lots of webinars on demand in case you want to hear this voice anymore. And there are blog posts and case studies of people using Perform and Engage across, and they're available on the Totara website. So there are courses and programs specifically for Engage, so you can learn how to use the product and how best to use it. So it's not just the features, but how to manage and encourage engagement. Likewise, across Perform, we have a program, and we have how to use the specific functionality, but also how to encourage and use performance management. There we go. And also how to use all 2 or 3 products together. So how you can use Engage and Perform alongside Learn to help with managing compliance. How you can use Engage and Perform with Learn to create coaching environments or onboarding. And how the various guides and ebooks, which are free to download and use, how to use Learn and Engage together, how to get started with Engage. And these are all very much free and available to you, and have some really good information and are very easy to read. They're not very technical. So I know everyone here's English is better than my Italian, but if you're not very confident in your English, be aware that these are written in very plain English and are quite an easy read, and probably can be translated fairly easily. So don't be intimidated by the fact that they're in English. So that brings me to our current promotion. So we're offering selected customers, so people that attend these sessions, and we've only got a small number of partners participating in this offer, so it is exclusive. We're offering a free trial of Engage and or Perform, so 1 or 2, and a discount, a 50% discount on your subscription if you add Engage or Perform before the 1st of November this year. So if you were interested in Engage, you would get a free trial of that, And if you confirmed your subscription before the 1st of November, you would only pay 50% of that full annual subscription. Now, with that trial, that promotion, we'll offer you a free adoption plan on how to get started and use Engage and or perform, depending if you're taking one or two of these offers up. We'll offer you as many customer success check-ins as you like. And that's to make sure that you're connecting with the product, that you understand how you can use it, and just generally ask any questions that you'd like to ask. And you also have the opportunity to give us feedback on the product, and that will go directly to our research and development team to make improvements, to make changes. So it goes straight to the source. Okay. I think my timing wasn't too bad today. So Andrea, do we want to open the floor to questions now?
Yes, thank you very much, Meredith, for your presentation. I think that we can start the question and answer session. Marco is also asking which type of companies has been tested, those add-on of Totara.
That's a really good question. Thank you. So we have quite a mix. So on our website, we've got our case studies or customer stories. Because often people wait a year before doing a case study, we're getting more and more perform and engaged case studies coming through. At the moment, we've got about 7 or 8. One of them is a large retail trainer in the Middle East, Al Shire. They're using the full talent experience platform. We also have the Met Office, the weather forecasting organization here in the UK. They are using Perform and Engage as well. Their use case is very interesting. We have a couple of others, and what I would suggest, and the best way to really understand how they're using the system, is actually look at the webinars that we've run with these organizations, because then you can hear it straight from their lips rather than a case study that we've written. So I'll share my screen very briefly. So I would encourage you to go to the Totara community and log in. And under, where is it? Learn. If you go to webinars and webinars on demand, then you can find these items that have got 2 people listed. So we've got the Chanbury, Watts, where is the Met Office one? Can't see it for looking. But the webinars, they describe how they're using the system. Otherwise, you can go into these use cases, and I think, when is it? Catalyst. Where is Met Office? There we go. So the Met Office is one example where you can see that they're using all 3. What's really nice in the academy content around onboarding and compliance and coaching is that we've asked different customers that are using Engage and Perform how they're using those products. And there's voice recordings and interviews with people in those courses. So seeing how they're applying those products might be useful as well.
So thank you, Meredith. Thank you to all people of Meredith who organized this meeting. And for any contact info, you can directly contact Meredith, and we will do our best to give you the information you require. Thank you again. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Ciao. Bye.